you doing?
I'm doing so well. How are you?
Doing good, Allie. Thank you. And you are the expert on your field, and I'm so excited and so thrilled to, welcome you to this show, to this webinar, Time to Be Me webinar. And I know you have been through a lot yourself. Your health-wise, I love your topic, by the way, for today, stress management. And I can't wait to hear from you. But before that, let's dive into your story. What do you do? What is your business, and how people can reach you? Can you share a little bit of us?
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me. It's definitely
Yeah,
an honor to be here. So I really appreciate it.
absolutely.
So I am an energy healer and I work for Young Living. It's mostly essential oils, but we also have like holistic products for cleaning and makeup and all kinds of things, just anything to ditch the chemicals, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. I love it. For anybody familiar with energy healing, I'm a Reiki master, and Reiki is so wonderful. And it's been such a help and a blessing in my own life, in my own health journey. And so I decided to become an energy healer because it was helping me so much. And I decided to start sharing Young Living first with friends and family because I was so happy with it. And then I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to share this with everyone because my health
Yeah.
was improving so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of friends who does Reiki and
Uh-huh.
energy healing, and I love the term energy healing itself. It's for your soul,
Exactly.
and your whole hormones. So,
Exactly.
that's close to my heart. Let me ask you one thing. When was the eye-opening moment for you? When did you start this business by your own?
Great question. So it was September of 2018, and I had kind of a really beautiful personal experience. And I called my energy healer and I was like, okay, his name is Jeff. I said, okay, Jeff, these things happened today. And he started laughing because he'd been my healer for a while. And he's like, that means
Mm.
you're ready to be an energy healer. And
Oh,
I
wow.
was like, oh, I don't know, like I feel like I need the healing. And anyways, and so he had me start taking some Reiki classes, and then I started not just doing the healing with him, but studying with him, and he became my teacher, and he's still
Hmm.
my teacher, and I love that.
Oh,
And so I took some classes, and I rolled out my business, which is Chronic Wellness,
mhm.
just in 2019, and
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, awesome. So why did you reach out to him at the first place?
I'm sorry, one more time.
Why did you reach out to him? Like, why you went to him at the first
Yeah,
place?
great question. Great question. So what happened is I have a really extensive history of chronic illness. I know you and I talked about that a little bit, and
Yes.
it's very hard for anybody familiar. I had a few autoimmune diseases and also just some real struggle with anxiety and with depression
Hmm.
for a long time. And in 2017, I was with my therapist and I was in his office and I was crying a lot. And I felt really alone and very sick and very defeated. And
Hmm.
my therapist actually, he's the one that suggested that I start and going to an energy healer to seek wellness in body and mind and spirit. And I'm so
Hmm.
glad I listened to him because it completely changed my health and also just my hope for
Yeah.
healthier, happier future. And I am so much better than I used to be. It's not that every day is easy,
Right.
but anybody that knows me can see the amazing changes that have taken place in my body, mind, and spirit as I really worked with my energy healer on healing a lot of things from my past.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. So you went to a physical therapist and everybody, and also including energy healer. Is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went to all kinds of healers, and I was
Yeah.
with I was with my mental health therapist when he suggested, hey, try energy healing. But yeah, I had done so
Yeah.
many different kinds of healing modalities for years prior to that.
Hmm. Why do you think you need to reach out to coaches like that, when you are in need, especially mentally a breakdown period?
Yeah, no, definitely that's an awesome question. I'm glad you brought that up. Well, we all really experience stress, right? Like we can't really
Yeah,
get away from it. And unfortunately, so many of us have anxiety disorders now. They're really statistically on the rise for many of us. And it's really important to have a few people, especially, a couple of professional people that you can reach out to for help and for love and for support when you're having a really dark time.
right, right.
And my healer, Jeff, has just been a beacon of light for me. And when I'm having a really hard time, he can remind me how much progress I've made and how much that he loves me. Because as well as I know that when we're having dark times, it's harder to love ourselves and to see our own progress. And it's
Oh
beautiful
yeah.
to have that reminder.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you need somebody who boosts you every single time, every single step, because you are just drowning. You're just there,
Exactly.
you don't know any positive light coming towards you.
Right?
So absolutely, I totally agree with that. So what do you do, to as a self-care nowadays? How do you maintain that energy level?
So, yeah, those are great questions because it isn't easy. We live in a difficult world, and right now, people are having an extra hard time. Many people, with all the happenings in the world, and
Yeah.
for me, I have some things that help me so much. For me, my Young Living essential oils help me so much with staying grounded and supporting my stress levels, supporting my anxiety. I have a few that I put on every day. I have one called Valor. I put it here on my throat, and it
Mm.
really helps me to be able to speak my truth. It's a,
Wow.
but they call it liquid courage because it really
Wow.
helps you be able to speak your truth. And it's a wonderful blessing. And I have one called Joy, and Joy has rose oil in it, and I put that over my heart when I wake up in the morning, so that my heart has some more joy in it. So it's like I have some liquid courage and some joy,
That's
and then I
amazing.
use a lot of oils, right, to balance my hormones,
Yeah, that's exciting.
and it's
I
very exciting.
Yeah, I heard about, I don't know why I'm so skeptical on and essential oil. I think I tried once. Somebody
uh,
was inspiring me, and I was like, okay, I'll try, but I think that smell bothered me somehow.
oh, that makes sense.
That wasn't for me, and I kind of repelling, try to avoid it. I think till now, but absolutely, I would love to try those things
That's
from
the
you.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I understand being skeptical because I used to be skeptical until I really tried it, and then I was like, wow, this really changes my whole day. And so I put the oils on when I need them. You put them on about every 4 to 6 hours. That's about how long they'll stay in your body. But if I'm really
Oh, wow.
struggling, then I'll put them on more like every 3 hours, and it helps my day stay so
Wow.
much better. I stay
So it's
like
just
more
like
calm.
your perfume, pretty much.
I mean, yeah, and so I mean, it smells really good, but
Yeah.
the properties in the oils, the therapeutic properties. You have to get ones that are 100% therapeutic, because if you
Mm.
just go and you buy any oil from the grocery store, it probably has chemicals in it or some
Mm.
water. So the ones
Oh,
that I
okay.
use from Young Living are all therapeutic, and so it's like you have the very essence of a flower or the very essence of a tree
The
right on
pure.
the body, and the
Hmm.
purity can
Yeah.
totally just support my wellness in a way that's very beautiful and unique to me, that really helps with the daily self-care.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love the idea of it. Because smell and that oil,
Uh-huh.
definitely, yeah, I would love to try. Love to try. I know, do you love yourself? That kind of question, I pretty much ask everyone in
Yeah.
a webinar, but it's loving yourself is so important to think positive and help others. If you don't love yourself, there is something lacking, something missing out there. What do you say about that?
Well, honestly, I have a lot to say about that because I'll tell you, you and I are pretty close to the same age. I'm about to turn 33 next month. And for the first 30 years of my life, I did not love myself. In fact, I
Mm,
didn't even like myself.
yeah,
And it was really hard for me. I really struggled with self-esteem, and I would get really, really mad at myself for small mistakes that I wouldn't be upset with other people for, right? And it was very
right,
difficult. And it's been beautiful though, because in my experience doing energy healing, both as a client and also as a practitioner,
hmm,
I have developed so much self-love and self-compassion for myself, because what happened is I was able to connect with my own divinity, like the own peace inside of myself that we all have,
yeah,
that's just universal love and beauty, simply because we're a human,
right,
and we're all blessed with that inner divine beauty. And once I connected with my own divinity through energy healing, I not only started loving myself, but that's the point where I started getting a lot healthier, honestly, and
right.
it's been incredible.
Right, because you have to, let it go. You have to accept
Yeah,
yourself, as a human being. It's not like, you are not perfect, but whatever you do from probably a year before than today, you are growing. You are
exactly.
improving. You are doing better for yourself. So I think to me also, if you ask me, uh, uh, you know, everything I do, I do it for myself first, because it has to be, you have to give respect to yourself, you excuses to yourself, it's okay. If it is, if you're kind to yourself and accept yourself, you are more than willing to learn different things, so
Exactly. That's a
quickly,
beautiful point. That's a
right?
beautiful point. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. So today's topic, are you ready for it?
Absolutely.
I can't wait to hear from you, Ellie. Go for it. Stage is yours.
Right. Well, again, thank you so much for having me, and
You are very welcome, sweetie.
great to just talk. And today, I just wanted to spend a few minutes talking about stress management,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And stress is anything that can really affect us, like physiologically or emotionally. It's not even necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes we need a little bit of stress in order to be able to keep ourselves safe, right? Like we have to know, okay, yeah, don't cross the street at this time. That's not safe. But it's becoming overly stressed. That's becoming more of an issue for so many people throughout the world. And
Hmm.
the thing is that while we can't avoid stress happening, what we can do is make sure and prioritize our stress management.
Right.
Because too much stress inside of our body, inside of our spirit, what it can do is lead to chronic stress. And if you have chronic stress, you're going to get sick,
Hmm.
and it's going to affect your physical health, your mental health. Also, chronic stress is probably going to affect your performance at your job, your ability to parent your children, your relationship with your significant other. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about stress management, because I feel like that's something that literally applies to everyone in the world. And it's something that we could all work on improving, and so that we're happier and healthier.
Hmm.
And the beautiful thing is, the more that we have our stress under control, the more that we have space to help other people
Hmm.
deal with their stress, right?
I totally agree. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I was telling you a little bit about, personally, I use Young Living oils every day to help support my stress levels. I also have used tactics that I've learned as an energy healer to help me with my stress. It's kind of amazing, the thoughts that we think and the words that we say really do affect our day to day life. And if we're constantly thinking, I'm not a good person, or, and not even like I did something bad, but like I am bad, and we're stuck in that shame,
Hmm.
then it's going to be really hard to deal with
Yeah.
stress when we're feeling kind of bad about ourselves, when we're feeling that
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah.
But when we're
Self-sabotage.
able to, exactly, the
Yeah.
self-sabotage,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so when we're able though to say like, hey, actually, no, like rewind. I'm not actually thinking that thought about myself. I choose to believe that I'm, I'm whole, I'm complete, I am worthy of love and belonging. And so then those kind of thoughts actually help us physically and mentally and emotionally and even spiritually to be able to flourish when we're stressed, because we are being our own best friend, if you will,
Yeah, yeah, I love it.
And so so they're in energy medicine, we call them intentions. So every day I set intentions for myself, and it's words that I say out loud, and I set an intention for the kind of day that I want, for the kind of attitude that I want, and I ask my higher power,
Mhm,
who some consider God, some consider the universe, either way. I
mhm,
ask my higher power for the support that I need during the day to be able to do the things that I would like to do for myself personally, for my family, and for my business.
mhm,
So, energy healing and oils are a huge part of my stress management routine.
mm.
And I also I eat very healthy food and stay very hydrated. Those are really important to me, as well as exercise. I always tell
Yeah,
people exercise is my favorite antidepressant. It really
absolutely.
helps.
You speak my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
I am a person who lives with high anxiety, and it's just it's I've lived with it for so long, and it's not that some days aren't better than others. Some days really are. But the thing is though is I've learned, okay, what are my triggers and what actually does help me? And so when I'm really struggling, it's like, okay, do I have 45 minutes to go walk on my treadmill, or can I, have I had enough water today? And so all the tools that I've learned, through my experience with chronic illness have been amazing, because now I'm very self-aware about what my body and spirit need to be able to have a good day. And so then I can work towards it. And then, like I said, the better day that I have, the more room that I have to be able to help other people with their day.
True, true, very true, very true.
Yeah.
Now, do you, sorry to interrupt, but do you want to show your slide or you're um, just let me know your plans?
Yeah. No, I mean, we can show them if you like, or we don't need to. Either way is good.
Yeah, whatever you feel like it,
Do you
whatever
have
you want.
do you have them available?
Yeah, I can pull that up.
Awesome.
Let
Thank
me,
you.
yeah, very welcome.
Appreciate that. Okay, so while you're pulling that up, I just wanted to say that I call my business Chronic Wellness, because for so many years I was struggling deeply with chronic illness.
Hmm.
And so I decided to call my business Chronic Wellness, because I've totally shifted my mind from, oh man, I have to live with this chronic illness. I am exhausted. This is really hard. I'm in a lot of pain. I can't believe that I have all these autoimmune diseases when I'm so young, to now, hey, I am so happy. I'm so grateful, because I have learned a lot of things in my journey about wellness. And each day I have the ability to choose to be chronically well, the ability to choose to, even if I can't control every circumstance, I can control the thoughts that I think about myself, and the I can control, the way that I speak to myself, and that's really important. And when we focus on the things that we can control versus the things that we can't control, it's really beautiful, because that helps us a lot with stress in and of itself. So,
Yeah, and first of all, I would like to say, I love that term, chronic, wellness
uh-huh.
instead of illness, because you have to maintain, you have to prevent. Prevention is always the key for wellness. So, thank you for that. That's pretty awesome.
No,
So,
thank you. You make a good point. Prevention is way easier than intervention.
yes.
And so, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So today I just kind of wanted to show our audience a few slides and just talk a little bit about, you see here that chronic wellness is my business. And I've got my email address down here so that I can be contacted if you wanted to set up an energy healing session with me, or if you wanted to set up an essential oil consultation. I do the essential oil consultations free for 30 minutes to give people, any education or resources they might need. And then with the energy healing sessions, I can work with anyone as long as they have a phone or internet connection. And that's amazing. Technology allows me to work with people all over the place. So here I have a few social media links. You'll see my link for Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And so follow me. And I put this picture up because the picture it says love one another. And that's the vibe I want to give off, is just love. Love is the most pure source of energy in the universe. And so
absolutely. Just curious, I never seen this picture before, but do you play piano by any chance?
I do. Yeah, I
Wow.
do.
I'd love to hear from you one day.
Yeah, definitely. I will. Thank you.
Awesome. I love that picture.
So I know I kind of mentioned to you that I became a Reiki master because from the time I was 19 until about 29, I struggled so much with chronic pain, with anxiety, with depression, with, I lost my thyroid completely, and I lost my gallbladder all the way, and I developed all kinds of food allergies, and it was really hard to try to, maintain a young adult life despite these challenges. And really a big turnaround for me was in 2017 when I started working with the energy healer. And my motivation to work with other individuals as an energy healer is because I know for me, it really changed my outlook on life and
Your
gave me a
perspective.
lot of healing. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
So, we can't avoid stress completely. And right now, I know a lot of my friends personally and my family members are struggling more with stress than they're used to, because we live in some unprecedented times, and we don't exactly know when those times are going to end. And so a lot of us have some kind of strain on, in our body or in our mind or our spirit, or all three, right?
Right.
And a lot of the things that we're used to doing to decrease stress are not optional for us right now. And so, it's leading a lot of people to really start to have to figure out, okay, well, where's my wellness toolbox and what can I add to it, since, maybe I'm unable to go to the gym right now, or unable to go out of town right now, or just different things like that aren't as available. And, sometimes people say, oh, I don't have time for wellness. Oh, I don't have time for self-care. And honestly, though, like if we don't invest in our wellness and prevent, like you were saying, then later down the line, we're going to have to do some intervention, which is way harder and more painful.
And so, costs so much. Yeah,
yes,
it costs so much.
It costs so much
Yeah, not only money, but time-wise or pain. It's just not worth it.
No, it's not worth it, because you end up miserable and stuck, and we can't always avoid that, but sometimes we can. And so any amount of wellness that we do to promote our physical and mental and spiritual health is going to be worth every effort.
Absolutely.
So I love this picture. I chose this picture because I love being outside. I love
that is your picture.
It's not actually, but I wish it was. That would be amazing. But I chose this because I love sunsets. I find them very peaceful. I love the outdoors. You can see there's a body of water there as well. And nature is a beautiful way for us to de-stress, because the earth is so powerful. And when we're able to receive the pure energy from the earth without anything interfering, like, technology or cement, when you can really actually connect with your feet to the sand or to the water, then they call it grounding or earthing. We're literally getting the pure energy from the earth straight into our bodies. And that is part of the reason why nature feels so good and why some of our stress leaves, is because of the benefits of earthing. It's amazing.
Right.
So, I kind of mentioned, okay, so this picture, this is me being silly, last month, actually. And actually, well, I was in May, but either way, it was in May this year. And I climbed on that rock in the middle of a lake, and I was just so happy to be in nature and outside. And I totally would have taken my shoes off if I didn't think I would maybe fall. But yeah, it was
Yeah.
beautiful to be outside with green trees, to
Yeah,
smell.
and your energy will be sky high. Yeah.
Uh-huh, exactly, sky high energy. And
Yeah.
I was just being myself in that picture. I wasn't worried about anything. I wasn't feeling bad about myself. I was just being
Hmm.
goofy to myself and
Yeah.
enjoying the earth and,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. That's nature. That's blessing.
So it really, since things have really shifted for me the last couple of years, I just feel so much love for all of the people on the earth. Truly, like, I love everyone, and I want everyone to be able to feel and receive love anytime I interact with them. So I have a major passion to help other people with their wellness, because I know what it's like to be stuck. I was stuck. I was stuck emotionally and physically, and I was stuck financially. I had to go through bankruptcy because of all of my medical bills. I felt very stuck spiritually, because I felt like, hey, like, I'm trying really hard to be a good person and get better. How come I'm still sick? And it's like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
wait, just because we're a good person doesn't mean that we're, going to automatically be healthy. And I had to shift a lot of my thoughts. And as I shifted my thoughts in the way that I spoke about myself, and then formed deeper relationships with who I considered to be divine, just everything in my life felt so much more beautiful and clear and
Mhm.
happy. And I
Right.
want that for everyone.
Yeah. You understand the value of it.
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So I created a model for energy healing, and my model is relax, release, and receive. So when I'm
Mhm.
working with clients, either in person or over the phone or over Skype, what we do is we first work on becoming really relaxed. So our brain waves, when we're just in regular, day-to-day conversations, are typically beta waves. And beta
Mhm.
waves are fine, but when you can get your brain to slow down a little bit and really relax, we shift
Mhm.
into alpha waves. And the alpha waves help us enter into our subconscious mind more than the beta waves will allow. And so much healing happens subconsciously. And so my clients are totally conscious and aware throughout the session, but just being able to relax enough to slow down the brain waves is
Mhm.
very, very helpful and therapeutic, because 95% of the things stored in our brain are stored subconsciously. So we're only operating on a day-to-day basis with the 5% of our consciousness. And scientists, not just energy medicine, but energy medicine and science, has really discovered that when you can help people get into a very relaxed meditative state, then a lot of healing can happen on a subconscious level.
Mm.
And when
Can
we're
I,
there, oh yeah,
sorry, can I ask you a quick question? What is beta waves and alpha waves?
yeah. So it's amazing with all the technology that we have these days. We can look at our brain waves, and they can look on scanners. Scientists, doctors, other professionals can look on scanners and watch our brain waves. And
Mm.
so you can look at the waves on the screen and see that the beta waves are just like faster. And so we're more likely to be in stress or anxiety when our mind is on a beta level,
Mhm.
versus the waves get slower and more steady when you're in alpha mode, and that is when we can enter the subconscious. And
Mm.
then there are other cool waves. Like, my favorite personally, as when our brain can get into theta waves. Theta waves feels like your mind is awake but your body is asleep. And that, oh my gosh, I love it when that happens. If you have you ever Do you do yoga?
I do all the time in the morning, especially when baby not awake.
Exactly, right. So yoga nidra, have you gotten into yoga nidra before?
I'm not sure about that term,
Okay.
but
Yoga,
Nidra, it seems like it's coming from Sanskrit, which is not quite awake situation. When
exactly.
you are not awake fully, but your mind is active, like before you even get up, you know, and you have that mind running like, oh, I have to do this and that, and new ideas coming, in your head. Is that what it is?
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
yeah, very nice. So it's like your mind is awake, but your body is asleep, and
Hmm.
that can happen. So that is theta waves, and sometimes that happens when people get into yoga nidra, or for me, often it happens when I'm in an acupuncture session and the needles have been in for a little bit,
Mm.
and that is where a lot of my subconscious healing can happen, because our body isn't feeling any sort of pain and is totally focused on healing past things.
Wow. Awesome. I learned something. That's
Amazing, right? There's
beautiful. That's beautiful.
so many beautiful things in the world to learn, and yeah, so
Yeah.
it's incredible, to then be able to release the things that no longer serve us, and then receive our new truths from the divine of what we do want in our lives.
Hmm.
So those are great. And now I just wanted to talk just for a minute about Young Living. So it's like people, there's a lot of different essential oil companies out in the world, right?
Hmm.
And so it's like, well, why did I choose Young Living? I used to use other essential oils in the past, but last year I kept noticing, my new massage therapist, my energy healer, it kept coming up that people were using Young Living, and I thought, well, I'll just try it.
Hmm.
And my body and my spirit really took to Young Living and really loved the oils, and I was receiving a lot of benefit from them. So I started learning that Young Living products, they're all therapeutic grade, so there's no chemicals and no water or anything in them.
Hmm.
Even when they extract the oils, there's no like chemical solvents or anything. And Young Living is the only essential oil company that has what's called the seed to seal promise,
Hmm.
which means that right from the very seeds that they're planting all the way to the sealing of the bottles, they have a
Wow.
very specific protocol that they go through to make sure that everything is pure grade. And so you can see on the slide here, they talk about, the cultivation, the distillation, and the testing of the oils after or before they're sealed. So it makes me feel really good because I can know exactly where the oil's coming from,
Right.
and it's all third party tested. So I really appreciate that outside confirmation that everything is pure, and I just personally receive a lot of benefit from, well, okay, so I'm using lavender oil to help me sleep, or I use lemon oil because lemon is very good for our liver to help with the detoxification process.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, cool. So I'm going to drink a little bit of lemon in my water, and I'm going to put some lavender, in an Epsom salt bath when my inflammation gets high to reduce it, things like that. I incorporate it into daily self-care routines, and I've been really happy with it.
Mm. Awesome. Awesome.
And there are lots of different Young Living oils that I love. I mean, they have hundreds of products, but personally, I have a few that are really good for my stress management. One is a blend called Stress Away, and I really love that. That's the one I pictured here. I usually put it behind my ears if I'm starting to feel a lot of anxiety, and it really helps kind of support my nervous system to let some of those anxious feelings kind of simmer down.
Yeah.
And then there's a blend called Peace and Calming I love. And then I know I mentioned the Valor to you, the one I put on my throat.
Right.
That one really
I
helps
love
me breathe.
lavender also. That's
Uh-huh.
mild. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one,
Awesome.
right?
Yeah.
And I love
Sorry.
vetiver. That's okay. I love my vetiver. Vetiver, I don't really love the smell of it because it kind of has kind of a more stereotypical man smell to it. Actually, some men use it for cologne, but I do love the therapeutic benefits of it. When I am feeling stressed, then the vetiver just helps me feel more grounded, and so I really appreciate that.
Awesome.
So we know that, uncontrolled stress levels can lead to a lot of serious health issues. People can have digestive problems such as irritable bowel syndrome. They can develop anxiety disorders. Sometimes when you have a headache and you're not sure why, it's like, oh, well, am I stressed?
Hmm.
Stress can lead to depression, sleep problems, insomnia, weight gain. Sometimes it's really hard to focus and concentrate. When I was in graduate school, Sometimes I had a really hard time focusing and concentrating on my schoolwork when I was really stressed out. Because stress can really mess with your mind. It can also give you heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure. So we have, I see here, we have a lot of incentive to really try to keep our stress levels down, because look at all of these things that can happen to our body if we have chronic stress for too long.
Yeah.
So, and lately I've just been thinking even more than normal about our immune systems and looking for ways to support my immunity. And stress levels and our immunity really go hand in hand. They're very correlated. Ongoing stress makes us susceptible to illness and disease because the brain sends defense signals to the endocrine system, which then releases an array of hormones that not only gets us ready for emergency situations, but severely depresses our immunity at the same time. Okay, so that's from Psychology Today. I did a little research. I wanted to find a solid quote to kind of back up my point here.
Yeah.
But, think about what we call flight or fight. You know that feeling I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So when our system gets really into the flight or fight mode, then we start releasing a lot of hormones such as cortisol, which are stress hormones. So then our body's ready for an emergency, but then our immunity goes down a lot at the same time. So actually, the more that our stress is under control, the higher our immune systems are going to operate.
Cool. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's directly affecting our immune system.
Yeah,
Stress
it really
really.
does.
Yeah.
So I just, I'm just wanting to say here on your webinar, thank you so much for having me here. And for, anybody that's interested, I would love to do a free 30-minute essential oil consultation with you. I have a ton of resources and large online communities of people who are dedicated to their wellness. And I'd love to, help you get into some of those communities and help like some of the best oils and products that may support you and your family's wellness. And I'm also taking new clients right now, doing distance energy healing, like I said, via the phone, Facebook, or Skype. So for this month and for August, I am offering 50% off anybody's first energy healing session, just because then you can really just try it for yourself and see if it helps you with your stress management. So I would love to work with you, and you can email or contact me on social media in order to schedule any of those things.
Absolutely. Will do. With me. Allie is still there?
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to stop sharing, and my computer is just.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I think we just just move on. So, well, thank you so much for sharing this beautiful piece of advice, Allie. Because this stress management, it's a big issue right now. There's so much concern going on, with every single individual around the world. Because of what's going on, it's this because of the pandemic crisis, and this beautiful piece of advice, hopefully somebody will take in, and some individual, it will help some of them out there. So I appreciate your time, and it's so much a pleasure to have you in my webinar today. And I really appreciate, and we'll be looking forward. I'll be looking forward for your essential oils for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we'll see you on the other side, Allie.